really a couple of schools outside of LA, outside the Inosanto Academy itself. First couple of people to get certified under Guru Dan outside the actual Inosanto Academy was a guy named Rick Fay in Minnesota and Terry Gibson in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so really, if you wanted to study these arts in the depth that we wanted, you really had to go to one of those two schools. I was very lucky to get a chance to move to Tulsa and work for Terry Gibson for a number of years and train with him directly, as well as T.B. Matthews also trained with him for a number of years, instructor him as well. So it was a really great opportunity, and it was really, at that point, these arts were really just kind of coming out into the rest of America. So there really wasn't much Silat out there at all. There was really no Panantukan out there. I hear all the time guys who have their own schools who are master level instructors in different arts say, hey man, I learned my first Filipino martial arts. I saw my first Filipino martial arts from watching Terry Gibson's videos, or saw my first Silat ever from Terry Gibson's video collection, or attended one of his seminars. That was the first time I saw it. You know, and now they're master levels in one of those arts. So it's kind of cool to have been at the ground floor where all that kind of started. So Terry studied with a lot of people at that time, primarily Dan Inosanto. He would travel out to LA and study with Guru Dan directly. But sometimes Guru Dan wasn't available. He was a working school teacher and things like that, plus running the academy, teaching seminars on the weekends. So when he was in town and he couldn't work with him, he said, hey, you should go study with this guy named Paul Bunak, one of my students. So Guru Dan recommended him. So Terry would go over and train, do private lessons with Paul Bunak. Paul Bunak had a very specific kind of flavor, still does to a certain degree, that included destructions and interceptions as an entry, followed by maybe some gunting and then followed with a straight blast into headbutts, knees and elbows, maybe a takedown. That was kind of the flavor at the time. Well, when we started doing more Silat and more Panantukan, that just got added to that flavor, because that was really the base motion for a lot of what we did. So so that just got added into that. So now when you look at this, it's what we refer to as the Terry Gibson formula, because he was really the first guy putting it out in this format, which has a lot of the same things. Interceptions or destructions on the way in, good things or striking on the way in, and then you had your trapping if you got caught, into your headbutts, knees and elbows, and then into a Silat sweep. So now this is how complicated it was at the time. If you took the guy down, that was referred to as Silat. You did a Silat throw to him. But if you just off-balanced him and then you're striking to him, that was Panantukan. That was really the designation at the time. It was that complicated, right? So a lot of the stuff is very similar. Silat throws and Filipino foot trapping can look very, very similar, especially if you're not as familiar with them. A simple way to think of it is Indonesians sweep the foot and sweep him down. Filipinos step on the foot and off-balance him. So really the Filipinos in general just simply step on the foot and off-balance him. And now that he's off-balance, now they're hitting, boom, right? While he's doing that. The idea being, of course, that if he's fighting balance and me at the same time, he's fighting two opponents. That's good for me, right? So that's kind of the origin of the Terry Gibson formula, and what we refer to as the Terry Gibson formula, and now we carry on those teachings since Mr. Gibson's passing 18 years ago. So we'll just roll into the next one. Okay, so